With ISL Online, you can access and control any distant computer or mobile device. Sign up now and start supporting your customers.
You're watching Tech Talk, brought to you by Tech for Techs. We're a community that supports independent trade with the help of vendors and distributors. We're live Mondays at 8 p.m. London time, and we will be streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can listen to our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, TuneIn, Player FM, and others. And now, here's tonight's show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tech for Tech Tech Talk. This is a live show where we help your IT business grow. Let me get rid of this logo off my face so you can see where I am and turn the chat on. There we go. So if you can hear us, see us, please comment, let us know. And good to see you, Gadget Joe. He's saying he's on time tonight. So
I don't believe it. Well done, Gadget Joe.
Yeah, there you go. I hope you're feeling better. I think you said last week you were feeling a little ill.
And Dan the Man is joining us. Evening, Dan.
There we go. And also saying nice to see you on time, Joe. So I'm guessing you guys can hear us or see us,
Hopefully.
hopefully. Obviously, let us know if you've got any issues, because we had a few issues with Facebook. It didn't actually say it was going live. It says, no, not live until like 5 seconds. And I was running across the room to get on the screen. So there we go.
Literally.
So, yeah, so it was a bit of a pain. So there we go. So, right, okay, so let's start the show off. So tonight we've got Luke and Ken on the show. We'll start off with Ken because he's a regular. Can you introduce yourself, Ken? Let everyone know who you are, what you do, obviously your company, as well as any tips or advice for us.
Yep, Ken from Canny up in the northeast. We sell computers. We've got a retail store and we do a B2B thing as well. But my tip is for some of the independent retailers that I have seen recently, not just in the IT trade, but all over. I've recently visited 91 of them on our little street where we are. Surprising how many of them actually are glued to the seat behind the counter and are terrified to come out from behind the counter and meet their customers. So my advice is to get out your front door, say hello to people as they pass, and try and drag them in. They're not going to come in on their own. You've got to go get them.
Yeah.
Good advice. And yep, been there, done that before.
Yeah. And well, techs are definitely one of the type of, shall we say, people who don't like mixing with other people.
We're not antisocial. We're just sort of standoffish.
No,
Just yeah, we are.
But yeah, definitely a good one there, Ken. So let's go over to Luke. So Luke, if you want to introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, what you do, and if you've got any tips, stories, advice for us.
Sure. I'm Luke Connelly with Emsisoft. I'm actually based across the pond in the country that's not having an election this week. Pardon me.
You.
Oh,
I have possibly Mexico, possibly not. So I was on the partner team. I still am on the partner team with Emsisoft, but I've taken on an additional role this year as a threat analyst. And my tip is based on a little incident that I was kind of part of, and that is one of the large cities in Ohio had been attacked, and they had been hacked, and their files were available in the dark web. And as a threat analyst, I could see this. I was on the dark web. I knew the threat actor who took it, and I could see that the files were there. The mayor claimed that nothing had been stolen and nothing was usable. And I was interviewed on TV and in Ohio, and I said, no, it's there. They also interviewed someone else who actually downloaded the files and put them online. And he was promptly slapped with a lawsuit. So my tip for today is don't download stuff from the dark web.
Yeah.
Definitely good advice. Especially on a works computer as well.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it on my home computer. I wouldn't want
it's just not there. Not only are there ethical and moral considerations, but any file that you download that's been touched by a threat actor is very possibly loaded with malware itself.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm going to say there's all sorts of things you can download off the internet that can be filled with malware, even ISOs for Windows and stuff like that, mods for games and all sorts. A common one, what we used to see quite often was people would go onto YouTube and look for cheats for games. And it'll say, you got to download this, and it ends up putting something on your machine, and obviously it works in the back end on your CPU and obviously monitors everything you're doing.
Discord was infamous for that because you had everyone gathering, playing multi-user games and sharing things.
That's it.
I just don't understand why you have to play a game and then cheat. It's kind of defeating the object. There's no sense of gratification of winning. Yes, I made it to level 80 or whatever when you cheat. So
yeah, it's a bit like real life. People cheat and say they do different things in real life. They do the same things in games and so forth. Obviously, some of these people are probably not necessarily cheating. They're probably doing mods. They've already finished the game. They want to play it a different way. And whatnot, and away you go. You've downloaded mods before for games, probably in the past. No, okay. Well, I have, but I'll keep that separate to everything else. But
No.
but there we go. Right, let's quickly go back to chat. So Gadget Joe saying he's feeling much better. Back in action at last. Audio is all good. And evening, Dan. And Richard Creedy is on as well. Rich, you're sort of on time today, so I'll let you off on that one. So good to see you tuning in. It's a little bit slow tonight because we've had a few issues with Facebook, so hopefully that'll pick up as the show goes on. Right, okay, so let's go to the main topic. Oh, not the main topic, the news.
I was going to say.
It's you first. Yeah.
Right. We've had a couple of signups this week, and last week we had a few signups for Tech Max. If you haven't registered, I implore you to do so. Get in there, get registered, and do it sooner than later so you can avoid people getting your spots. We've got some nice sponsorships open. So if you want to sponsor us, we like to think there's one for every budget, from the smallest of budgets to even the largest of budgets. And if you don't see one that is up there for your millions of pounds to be a sponsor, talk to me. We can arrange that.
Yeah, not that anything with millions of pounds.
Well, you just never know. But anyway, I have hired entertainment. I'm not going to announce exactly what that's going to be just yet, but I have hired the entertainment, and in the new year, I'm going to announce what that is. So I'll make you just hang on going, oh, man. But anyway, we have Tech Point, Case King, Arrow Cool, Thunder X, In-Game Gear, APNX, Lynn Lee, Fantech, Colink, Haven, Nitro, Moza Racing, Smokefield, Simplify, Ducky, EADR, VIP, QNAP, Kingston, Gamers Beat Cancer, Spire, and Mr. Awaiting Logo.
Yeah, that one, we're just waiting for information on some of them to come through. So,
Yeah.
but
we've got a few more, like I said, the ones that signed up last week and this week awaiting payment, and then we'll let you know who they are. Still showing you right now the itinerary for the day. Our charity, if you did not hear me say so, is Gamers Beat Cancer. Really good cause. They supply computers to people with cancer that are, not going to make it. And try and make that last few, maybe months that they have not so much of a terrible round. They can actually take their mind off of it while they're being treated. And, never know, they might even get help. It gives them something, though, to take their mind off what they're facing. So it's a real good cause. If you come to the event, do dig deep for them. There will probably be a prize given away by them as well. We'll see. And if you haven't gotten your ticket, it's time to do so. You need to go over to www.tftmax.com and click on the purple button in the right-hand corner. And day tickets are free. The lunch ticket has sold out, but your VIP day, evening, and awards combo, it's on there. And it is wait a minute, is it $24.50 or
yes,
is it
$24.50? That, but obviously it doesn't include the lunch because we've sold out of lunch.
Right. Okay, that's why there's a difference.
Yeah,
okay.
So the lunch,
right.
The one what included the lunch was 25. So it's only 50p difference. But that one has sold out, unfortunately.
Okay.
Or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. So,
fortunate.
But if you are wanting tickets, especially the VIP light ones, which include the evening, we do suggest you book them early because they generally sell out quick. Last year it was around January they were all gone, if not earlier.
Now, not to worry about food. You can buy food at Magna. It is a cardless venue. So if you want something to eat or drink, you can go up to the canteen, and they have all sorts of burgers, hot dogs, anything you could want, with Cokes, water, J2O, is anything you can think of and dream up, really, they will have it on a cardless pay for.
That's it. So again, if you do turn up, you just get the free ticket. You can purchase lunch
Yeah.
there. There is example on the website of what the lunches are. Again, prices and stuff might change by then, but basically for less than £10, you can get yourself burger, chips, drink, and so forth.
Yeah.
So you can buy stuff.
So, some venues are very extortionate, and this happens to be one that is not. I think it's very reasonable.
Yeah. Right. Let's go back on to the main part of the show then. So before we do that, let's just tell everyone what we've got coming up next week. So we've got a show next Monday. So that's Monday at 8 p.m. This show is going to be about some new stuff, what we're going to be launching. I'll put a basic teaser on the screen there. So you've got obviously Tech Max, which most of you know about because we just talked about it for the last 2 minutes. We've also got Tech for Techs Plus and Tech for Techs Real Tech. Doesn't change anything to do with what we already offer. Everything you get now in the member side, you still get. These are extra additional things. So again, we'll be talking about those next week. So that's Monday at 8 o'clock.
So when you log into TFT and you're wanting to know where you can find this, that, and the other, that's still the same. If you just need to vent about a customer that's done your head in, it'll all be the same. But these additions will just be for, addition.
That's it.
So I'll go to the chat. Gadget Joe, he says, I still think you need to add YouTubers category to the awards. Not fishing or for on my behalf because I'm small fry in a big pond. But Gadget Joe, I hate to sound selfish and all, but wouldn't I be just giving that award to myself because we're the best? Burn.
Oh, yeah. That's Gadget Joe logging out. Right, there we go. We've also got Andy saying hello all. Richard Creed is saying Facebook is noticeably by its absence. And Gadget Joe says he's a retro gamer. I'll be the first to admit that I've modded a few older consoles, etc., although never done too much on the PC side of things. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Let's go on to the main topic then. So again, guys in chat who are watching, if you have got anything you would like to add to the conversation, obviously talk to Luke, Ken, myself, or you've got any other ideas or ways, then feel free to say, and then we'll go over those and so forth. So I'm going to start with you, Luke. So, Luke, how do you keep your customers?
How do I keep my customers?
Or how should people keep the customers? However, whichever way you want.
I mean, I think it's kind of, in my mind, fundamentals. I try to treat my customers with honesty and respect. And if things go wrong, be honest and upfront about it. Be grateful for the business that they send you. We had a chat before we went live, and Ken is actually one of my customers, and I have to send him emails sometimes that I don't want to send him, but it's really important in situations like that to keep it sort of polite and formal, and not either take anything personally or not get personal, which is not always easy to do. If someone comes in and or sends you a harsh email, which is easy to do over the internet, it's easy to respond with a like tone. But I think it's really important to try to maintain a level of civility, particularly relevant given that it's, as we talked about earlier, it's an election week in the U.S. I think a level of civility would be really valued all around.
We spoke about how you can't read tone in an email. Yeah. And to one person, your lighthearted email just came across very curt.
Exactly.
And I had at one time that I wrote an email that I thought, okay, this gets the point across. And I meant no malice when I sent it. But the person that received it told me how curt I was. And I thought, you should see me on a good day.
One of the things
But
I do,
you do have to watch what you say,
Mm.
and notice that even getting Phil over to the side, I get him to read my emails that I'm going to send out sometimes, and just check and see if it could be taken the wrong way. If I'm not sure, better safe than sorry, and things like that.
Yeah. It's always best to talk in person if you can, or on the phone, but
Yeah.
emails can, and any messaging can sometimes be, you don't always quite know what people are meaning or how they are, and you can get that in Facebook communities as well. And there's one or two people I know in our community who sometimes rub people up the wrong way. It's just the way they talk; they're not being aggressive and so forth. But obviously, if you had a face to face with that person, you'd know that. But you generally don't know that.
I'll
with
tell you how true
messaging.
that is. A friend and I were emailing each other back and forth, and we've known each other for years. And it rubbed her the wrong way, my email. And I was wondering why she had not responded to the email, and so I emailed her again to see if she got it. And she said, well, I'll tell you, I just kind of offended. And I said, what part? And I even pulled up the email, and I'm reading them, and we're like, uh-oh, syntax Sarah. And I said, no, let me tell you, that's not what I meant. And we talked it out, and I'm a firm believer in talking things out when they get misconstrued, and everything was fine. If we had been on the telephone, she'd have heard my voice and known that it was just, taking a light joke, and just not to take it at heart. So I think that when you're in business, as much as you can, be on the phone with people instead of emailing for that reason.
Yeah, definitely there. So let's have a look.
Our audio is dropping at times.
Oh, is anyone else having issues hearing us? Or
Gadget
anything like
Joe
that?
is.
Okay, so Rich Creedy says there's a few issues.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's just one of those nights tonight. All I can suggest is we carry on. So if you
Like
didn't,
in Guy Fawkes.
if you didn't understand anything Jen said, basically be nice. That's it. Okay, so let's move over to you, Ken. So Ken, if you want to let obviously anyone know what tips you've got, how do you keep your customers?
well, there's a few ways we keep them. I mean, going back to what we were saying about emails, just there, I make a point of always reading my own emails back before I hit the send button, because even some people who know me know that I'm really, really direct at times, and a lot of people can't take offense to that. And I mean, I've been told that many times, but I sometimes find it's easier to be direct, and people sometimes appreciate that. So when I'm writing an email, I will read it a couple of times, and then I'll save it in drafts, and I'll go back to it in an hour, especially if it could be contentious.
Yeah.
But in terms of keeping customers happy, there's no easy way to do that, because I mean, I'm sure Luke will appreciate nobody wants to spend money, but everybody wants everything for free.
Absolutely.
And they want your time for free. And I mean, I see a lot in the Tech group along the lines of, we've got little old Doris who's came into the shop. We should help her with a little problem, but then it turns into an hour's worth of work. And, it's a case of where on earth do you stop? There's got to be some boundaries, I think. And I mean, the B2B side is easier, because most people in business will understand that there's a cost associated with nearly everything. I'm pretty fortunate that our B2B clients, we don't actively advertise those services yet. The ones we've got, we've picked up through word of mouth. We class them as friends rather than customers. So if there is an issue, I can normally just ring them up and say, how are you doing, Fred? by the way, you haven't paid this month's invoice.
Yeah.
You need some help with that, or do you want us to put it off a week? Or, it's a case of we're trying to keep it as light touch as we can, that kind of thing. But that normally prompts the reply, oh, sugar, I forgot, or words to that effect.
Yeah.
And then it's in the bank in seconds, which is great, But now going back to the COVID lockdowns, we had a customer. She was a little one woman band with a cafe. We supplied a broadband, a phone line, and looked after a till for her. Not the biggest job on the planet. And I sent her invoice out, and as we did, and she wasn't able to trade. We knew that. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting her to pay it. But she rang me up. She was in bits. She says, yours is the bill that's going to break the camel's back, if you like. And I thought, well, don't worry about it. We'll come up with a plan. She's still a customer. She's been the most loyal customer that I've ever had. We showed her a little bit of kindness back in the day, and now she repays that by referring people non-stop. So you can turn those things into a positive, but it's all about keeping them happy. And I find communication is the biggest thing for that. As long as you're talking to them, no matter what, even through tough times, or awkward times, or whatever it might be, as long as you maintain the communication and you keep it friendly,
Exactly.
then, you can get through anything. And I've turned some awkward ones around. And even retail customers, you get some, and for the guys in Tech for Techs, particularly the retailers, we've all had that awkward customer who comes through the door.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into too much detail about a current one that I've just dealt with. But she neglected to tell the technician 5 months ago, that's how long we've had a laptop, that it was a grey import. She forgot to tell all of that. So we're trying to find parts for it and eventually find them. We're having to import them, which takes extra time. Or then there's extra customs tax to pay. Then there's a bit more shipping to pay. By the way, love, you've got to pay a little bit more. You've got this, you've got that to pay. It's starting to mount up. It's going to be cheaper to buy a new machine, as I advised.
Yeah.
And now she's demanding a full refund. And it's a case of, well, okay, let's, how do we sort this out? It's a fully working machine now. It's been rebuilt completely.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, I think the only thing that is original on that machine now is its mouse pad.
I was about to say the bezel.
No, it's had that. It's had
Really?
It's had everything: bottom case, palm rest, keyboard, screen. And as you get into these jobs, as you know, so sometimes they take a wrong turn, and it's a case you find something else wrong, and it's a case of you have to ring them up and say, look, by the way, I found this time, and she's now of the opinion that we've deliberately sabotaged that whole machine. And it's a case of, well, no, I haven't actually, because I haven't got the time for that. It's a case of, but see it from our point. And the way I've kept her happy, I sat her down. We've had quite a frank conversation last week in the shop. She came in. She initially shouted the odds, so you let them run out of steam, and then you say, right, okay, so this is what's happened from our side. How would you deal with it? How would you like us to fix this? And she was like, well, I don't really know. And it's a case of, well, how do you expect me to know? I says, this is new territory for both of us. Let's just sort it out between us.
I can see both sides of this.
Yeah. Oh, I can. And, we've taken quite a hit on that one. But we've learned some valuable lessons along the way. Always check for grey imports. Always. We'll never do that one again. But it is what it is. But in terms of customers, we treat them as friends in most cases, especially the business ones. And the amount of golf things I get invited to and days out to here, there, and everywhere. I wish I had the time. I'd love to take them up on it. But you do get lots of invites to openings and previews of art galleries and all sorts of things. So it does have its perks. It's just a case to keep people happy. Be nice, be friendly, but be professional. If that's the problem, you've got to raise it.
Problem you're going to have, Ken, is if you ask all your customers are the grey imports, they'll probably turn around and say, no, it's red.
Yeah, we're never going to be able to win. But I suppose now, at least the case, there's a new question on our booking in sheets now. Where did you buy this? In the UK or somewhere else?
Yeah.
It's a case of it's
Yeah.
trial and error. The trouble is the booking in sheet. I think it's already got 20 odd questions on it, and
There's only so much you can ask, isn't there? It can get a bit long.
It can probably be overwhelming for the customer.
Oh
By
yeah,
the time they filled it out, they feel like they're in the doctor's office.
yeah. Do you want my shoe size as well, or do you want what color size?
Really?
It's I mean, it feels like we're interrogating them, but we kind of have to explain to them it's to protect you so that we get the right parts, we get the right service, and we treat you properly. So it's what it is. And if they don't want to provide all the information we need, then there's a shop around the corner. Try them.
Okay, sounds pretty good.
We need to go to chat.
Quickly go to chat with Mr. Andy, whoever Andy is. Hello.
Hi, Andy.
So nice to see that you've joined us. We've also, obviously, Gadget Joe mentioned about our audio going in and out. You can let us know if that's any better. I've adjusted the gain on our audio equipment just to see if it helps. Let's have a look. She says he's saying that the YouTuber Awards is interesting, but how would you rank the awards? I don't think it's something what we really want to look into doing, to be honest, or at least not at this time.
I think it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah, because we're looking to promote independent traders as well as distributors and vendors. Might be something to think about in the future, but at the
perhaps PCR Awards could do something like that. But for us, we are trying to, like Phil says, do independent trade and everything, and not so much unboxing videos as such. We do some of those, but it's more
reviews and more for the trade.
It's more for trade, yeah.
Getting it to fit in would be something we'd have to look into. Right, Richard Creedy says,
Luke said what I would have said, to be honest. If something goes wrong, own it. Customer appreciate honesty. Exactly. Own your mistake.
We had a situation like that, and it was more than 2 years ago, and I was fairly new with the company, and it was over the Labor Day weekend, and some piece of software had an update, and it conflicted with our software. Antivirus software has to interact with every other process in the system, so it's not beyond reason that the conflicts will come up. And one came up, and I can't remember what the software was. They didn't update, and it caused a major issue that affected a fairly small number of customers fairly severely. So we had, over that Labor Day weekend, a few thousand tickets come in, and we sort of did an all hands on deck, and a bunch of us from sales as well as the support team responded to the tickets pretty much in real time as they came in over the weekend. And at the time you think, what a disaster, all these customers are having issues, but our tech team was able to resolve it within about a day. And the customers really appreciated the fact that they had a person respond to them, often within half an hour.
Yeah.
Like if you think you go to a chat on a website for some impersonal company, to expect a response within 20 or 30 or 40 minutes is it really a lot of them responded saying thank you for the fast response. It was amazing, and that was, it made us feel good. It helped. And
on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend, if you're not American or familiar with the American Labor Day, it is like the last hoorah. And it's the knees up. Let's get all of our partying in, and don't expect tech support to be anything. You might get a teenager answering the phone at most places. I mean, it's just not going to be there. And for you to have someone that's all hands on deck, oh wow, that's awesome.
It's pretty good, that is. Right, we've got Dean Wood saying,
hello, Dean. Quite simply, just treat your clients how you want to be treated. It's that simple. If you or a member of your team makes a mistake, own it and put it right. Very good,
Okay.
Dean.
Nice one. Gadget Joe.
There becomes a fine line when it comes to being friends with your customers. They need to understand that you are still a business, and sometimes people try to exploit you. Now, I've got to agree with this one.
Mm-hmm.
You will get people they will come in your store. I know about this one. I thought we were friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we are, but I'm not the charity shop either. Okay, love, I need you to pay me. Okay,
Mhm.
and well, I thought you would understand that Mickey gets his payment in a couple of months, and I could pay you then. Well, you tell that to British Gas for me. You
Yeah.
tell that to Severn Trent for me, and explain all my bills that Mickey doesn't get paid until then, and we will talk, okay?
Yeah, my response to people who used to say that to me is, well, if we're friends, all my friends support my business and they actually pay over the going rate because they want to support my business. So if you want to do that and be
Yeah.
my friend, that's fine.
My real rant used to be, do you go into Marks and Spencer and ask them when you pick up that new handbag to let you pay less and at a different date? When you go into Tesco to buy your groceries, do you say, can I take these groceries now and pay for them later and at a reduction? And I'd go through about 3 or 4 different stores, and they'd finally be nodding their head like, okay, I get the picture, okay. I really hated to go on that spiel, but sometimes it was necessary to make them wake up and go, you know what, this is actually a store, and they depend on my money to survive. So, I mean, as much as I want to be friendly with them, I have to make them know that I am a business.
Mhm.
Business is business.
I know one of the things we're looking at the minute, because we're in an area where there is a lot of older people and they genuinely don't have the skills to deal with some of the stuff on phones, tablets, laptops. We've all been there. And they just turn up out of the blue at any hour of the day and expect you to take time out and help them. And so we're looking at introducing an hour every day, late on when we're not really busy, when it's traditionally quite quiet, so possibly 3, 4 o'clock or something like that. And it's a case of, open help hour or whatever, either every day or a couple of days a week, whatever the timetable was set. But we're thinking of doing that just to try and get them all into that one little gap so that they're not hindering the rest of the operation. Because we do want to help them where we can, because they'll turn into customers at some point.
Yeah.
But it's finding a way to do that without impacting everybody else. And the ones who insist on help there and then, it's a case of, well, there is a small charge. If it's going to take us less than 10 minutes, there's a charity box there and you're going to have to put a tenner in it.
Yeah.
Most of them that we've tried that with have said, oh, that's fine. I'll shove £15 in and it goes, great, you've got 10 minutes of my time. How can I help? But we still aren't making money out of that. So, that's why we're looking at doing set times for things like that. Running workshops.
Time is money.
Yeah, exactly. Free help doesn't pay the rent.
That's right.
So it's a case of we need to keep the roof over our head, we need to keep the lights on, we need to keep the staff all paid, and we need the customer to do their bit of help with.
I don't mind if it's something daft like saying, have you tried rebooting your computer? That's one thing.
Yeah.
But when it goes beyond that and I have to actually take the laptop or system and plug it in, now we're getting into my time. And if it's a 10-minute fix, like you, this is one thing, but that's 10 minutes I could have put on something else that's in the priority of being fixed. So
Yeah.
you have to draw a line there and say, book it in if you want me to have a look at it.
Yeah. I mean, I think for us, the one thing we've picked up on over the last 12 months, as the economy has worsened a little, I say a little, a lot, however we want to put that, people are expecting a lot more for a lot less.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we've all had the Amazon shoppers in, they bought the wish list. Can you check that all of this is compatible with each other? And I think, well,
Sure, for a
you know,
price.
are you buying it off me? And they'll be, well, no, because you'll be too expensive. Well, you haven't asked us for a price yet. Give us your list. And 9 times out of 10, I'll not be far off. Or we can tweak it so that we're not far off. But now when we get that kind of customer in, I don't know if I want to keep them happy, because they're going to go away, buy the parts on Amazon, probably make a botch job of putting it all together, and then they're going to bring it into us and demand that we'll put it right. So
and if you've given them advice, it's your fault because you told them go together.
Yeah.
I'm making a rod for my own back at that point. So it's a case of, I think we all need to be careful about the types of customer that we offer our services to. I mean, it might be, yes, we might have to disappoint somebody in front of us saying, look, sorry, I can't help you with that issue. But this is why, because it's going to come back to me and I don't want to be responsible for your mistake.
Yeah.
I had a similar or a pricing issue. It actually came up last week, but it built up over the last month, and it was. Have time for a little anecdote?
Yeah,
I do.
So it was B2B, and it was a fairly large deal. It wasn't in the UK. It wasn't in Europe. It was in another geography. But my partner had a customer due for renewal, fairly large network, and they were feeling some competitive pressure. Sure enough, the customer was shopping around because I had another partner come to me asking for a price. And both customers asked me if they can cut me a deal. Both partners asked me if they can cut me a deal. And I said, we have 2-year discounts or 3-year discounts, but the price list is the price list. And the reason is because I don't want you to have to fear that I'm going to give a better price to someone else. We want to be we're very upfront. We publish our price list, and we don't show preferential treatment to one partner versus another, because if we did, in the long run, that's not going to be good for anyone, certainly not for us. And sure enough, the day before the license expired, the customer renewed.
Okay, that's good then.
We need to go to chat and get caught up with what Richard Creedy was saying.
Let's have a look. So, let's go.
Emsisoft isn't alone in software conflicts. I think pretty much all anti-malware companies have had one issue or another. At least.
I think we've all heard about it on the news one way or another, but it all happens.
And I think we have to give empathy to the software companies when that happens, because it does happen to everyone.
Yeah.
It always makes me laugh when people, especially on the news, it's like, why couldn't they have tested it first? And it's like,
how do you test that?
How do you test that on 5 billion computers? It's like, they're all different one way or another, unless you've got an Apple, and even then you've still got potentially different software on there. What conflicts in the hardware is completely different on near enough every machine in the world, and then every bit of software on top, nothing's the same.
I think people speak before they think in cases like this. So
give us room to have a billion different setups so we can test
and a billion
everyone.
different people doing the testing.
Exactly.
That's very practical.
I don't mind sharing with people watching that obviously we use Emsisoft, and we had a minor issue today. I'll call it minor. At the time I thought it was major, and I nearly had a heart attack. But it turned out that the Emsisoft software was doing what it was intended to do. And another vendor that we use a popular package with, I'll not name them, they've issued an update this morning, which all of our machines across the whole company have picked up. So I've had, I think it's about 40 odd emails over the course of an hour to tell me that there's a threat appeared on our machines, and I'm thinking, panic. But when you get that many in one go, you think, okay, we know we've not got ransomware because I can still see my screen. So it's a case of, okay, let's look at this in a logical way. Look at where it started, look at the exact programs. Like, oh yeah, that's just done an update. We did get a bit of external advice just to confirm what we thought, but it turned out, Emsisoft did what it was meant to do. It was a false positive. So we've flagged it as a false positive, and hey presto, everything seems to be going well now.
Fingers crossed.
I kind of think that the Emsisoft system will now pick up that we've flagged that as a false positive. Luke will correct us if I'm wrong. And then other customers.
If you flag it, it goes to our lab team.
Yeah. So other customers won't have that problem now. So hopefully we've done our bit to prevent people from having heart failure somewhere around the globe somewhere.
We appreciate you're maintaining a level head.
Yeah, we use Emsisoft, and I find it very user friendly. It's not got all the garbage.
Yeah.
It's got what you want, plain and simple, there in front of you. I love plain and simple. I have no time for looking for this, that, and the other. I want it there. I want it clean, precise, and
no selling up and stuff. Anyway, it's not an Emsisoft show. This is
no, but I'm just saying that I do like it. Yeah,
exactly. We do use it, and
we need to go back to chat.
A number of times.
We
Let's
are
just go to
D-Tech.
Yeah, it was the D-Tech one next.
Yep. Despite being business owners, technicians, engineers, suppliers, etc., in the industry, ultimately we have to take this into consideration. Always the fact that we are all customers to someone else. Indeed.
Totally
Indeed.
True. Totally true. Good point. Richard Creedy next.
I just tell my people that my prices are pretty keen already. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. We tend to do a similar thing, and always said that if anyone asks for discount, we say we keep a low price for everyone. We don't give discounts for any certain types of people. We give the same decent price for everyone. So, but again, everyone works differently, and some people do like NHS discounts and stuff like that.
Blue Bolt is saying, "Hi guys, running late tonight, and we charge £65 for that. Then it's deducted from the bill if they go ahead with us." I'm presuming that's diagnostics.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's going to be the diagnostics. Similar thing what we used to do is you charge a diagnostics fee, and then if they go ahead with the repair, you knock the price off.
Fair enough.
The final bill. If they don't want to go ahead with the repair, then you've got your £65 or whatever you charge.
And Gadget Joe is saying, we live in a time that makes it very difficult to sustain a business, especially a small one. It's a very tricky job getting the balance right, especially the constant inflation rates too. And I've got to agree with that as well. Richard Creedy says, and they blame the wrong companies sometimes. Look at how Microsoft were accused of an issue which was actually CrowdStrike's problem.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone, I think it's human nature to blame everyone.
People love to blame Microsoft, and I'm not taking up for them here, but they do love blaming Microsoft. Oh, it's a Microsoft problem. But when they buy their computers, you don't see them going out and buying a Linux-based version of the computer. It's always got Windows on it.
Yeah, Windows or Apple.
I mean,
but most of the cases Windows.
Yeah,
totally agree there. So definitely some good points. Going back to the chat, if you guys do have any suggestions, obviously how you back, let us know. We'll go over it. Luke, Ken, and myself and Jen will talk about it and go from there. I haven't given any advice yet, and one of them is actually, you could say, covers Emsisoft, what we used to do before we started Tech for Techs and had the store and everything like that, is get monthly contracts with customers, because then they're constantly your customer. So either whether it's you reselling security from Emsisoft or another vendor, if you wish, where they allow you to bill your customer monthly or yearly, whether it's online backup, whether it's remote support, or even on-site services. Once they've got one service with you, so
Audio.
Yeah, audio's choppy again.
It
Sorry.
was just at the beginning when you first started there, Phil, and it's fine now.
It's
Okay.
fine now, is it? Okay. The problem with chat is it's usually 30 seconds behind due to YouTube and Facebook and stuff. But yeah, so in basics is monthly contracts are your way to go. They'll constantly stay as a customer. Once you've got them, whenever they need anything tech related, they'll contact you. Even if you don't do it, you can then pass them on to one of your competitors or friends stores or whatever what does that service, like maybe phone repairs or whatever, and you don't offer it. So monthly, and I'll push this every single time anyone asks, it is the way to go. And when we had monthly contracts, we paid for all our store rent, electric, everything was paid, well overpaid for by a monthly income. And if, let's just say, something like COVID happens again or anything else, World War III, whatever, you
Don't tempt that one.
yeah,
That's a couple of days' time.
you've still got that monthly income coming in from your customers. Okay?
Yeah.
So even if you shut your store, you've still got money coming in from your customers.
And a lot of our customers called it computer insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I want to pay for my computer insurance that's coming up for renewal. And I guess the reason they knew they called it that was they knew they could call on Phil. He would be there in a prompt, timely manner or arrange to be there as soon as possible. And they would know that they got priority above all else in the queue. So they called it their computer insurance, which I thought was really cute, especially the older generation. They like to call it their computer insurance. So that's one way to sell it there is call it that. Another way we kept our customers.
Dropping again.
Sorry?
It just dropped out briefly again. It just gets muffled. It's better now.
We'll have to look into it.
Yeah, we will. Another way we kept our customers was just be kind. And I've said this before, be kind to the young people that come through your door. They may not be carrying the big wallet, but they have parents that do have. And when they go home and they say, you know what, the nice lady at Chip's Computer, she showed me how to make my own computer by using this gadget that she had. And I got to pick out my own case. And I actually built my computer. Look at this. And I would give them a report to take home or a quote that was good for 2 weeks. And I'd say, right, if you bring this back to me in 2 weeks, I can hold this price. Oh, Dad, if in 2 weeks, she says she can hold it for 2 weeks. Can I? You wouldn't believe the floods of people that I would be getting right now. Build it up for my kid for Christmas. He brought me this quote in a few weeks back. Can you do it? And we would have computers stacked to the ceiling by now, waiting to go out for Christmas.
Orders usually started October time.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pause our audio a second, guys, just to see if I can sort out the audio issue. Let's go over to Luke and Ken. Have you got any other ideas of actually getting customers to keep coming back to you?
Yeah.
I think, one of the things we do, particularly this time of year, we've started the Kit for Christmas campaign. It's a charity thing. So the idea being customers bring in their older tech, we'll then sell them newer tech, and we'll take their old tech off them, refurbish it to a reasonable standard, and that'll go off to a local charity or school. We make sure it's all wiped, sometimes a new SSD, that kind of stuff, so that it can be used for Christmas or something along those lines. We find that customers love that because they know where their kit's going. They know that it's going to be used for a good cause, and they know it's not going to cost them any more money to get rid of it. But it's so 2 birds, 1 stone type of theory there. But that's one way to keep them happy and coming to spend more money.
I would just add to something that I probably heard multiple times over the years, and it's worth hearing multiple times because it's easy to forget. And that is when a customer comes in and they're looking for something or they have a problem, practice listening to the customer as opposed to, and it's very easy to jump in immediately and start talking with the vast amount of knowledge that someone like I would have.
Mm.
Um, listen to what their objectives are, listen to what their problem is, listen to what they're looking for before starting to offer up solutions. Because a lot of the time, when they get the whole thing out, when they really articulate what it is they came in for, you'll be looking at something different than your initial thought.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
listen to their needs. You as a salesperson, you want to sell the most dear piece of equipment you've got in the store, but when you listen to the needs of your customer, the one that's the cheapest sometimes would do the trick for them. So you have to draw a fine line of overselling and things like that.
The way we deal with that, I mean, we use a popular PC builder, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And we'll work through all the options. We do listen to them. It's typically a family purchase where we are. The whole family will be in. It'll be the family's first game in PC or whatever. We'll listen to what games they want to play, and then we'll come up with what the minimum spec is they need. We'll go through all the options, and we'll explain, perhaps next year you'll need a bigger graphics card. This is the upgrade route. This is how all that works. So we plan the upgrade path for them as we're selling it. So we know that we're going to sell them the basic machine as it stands. Next year they'll buy a graphics card and possibly a bigger SSD or possibly more RAM. So that machine then has probably 3 or 4 years of sales pipeline in it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to come back and pay a labor charge every time we fit something to it. Their kids are going to come in and fit their next graphics cards. And on top of all that, we will say to them, oh, by the way, little Johnny or whatever they're called will come in and build it themselves on the bench where we are. And in the front window of the shop, so everybody passing can see that happening and people think it's great. Still haven't met many retailers who are brave enough to do that. So, so there's a challenge for anybody watching. Give it a go. It's you'll be amazed at the difference, especially when you tell little Johnny that he can bring 2 or 3 of his school pals with him.
Yeah.
And then they'll watch the process in total amazement, and then they'll go home and badger their parents, and the process starts again. So
I've been there, and you're right. The ones looking on are like, oh my God, we're actually building this together.
Yeah.
Get this case, get this one. No, I don't like that one. Get this one, get this one. And they'll stand there and have a little argument over which case to get. It's so cute.
Yeah. It gets competitive.
Yeah.
Right, guys, we're getting close to the end of the show. I'm just going to go through one bit of advice I've got, and then we're going to go through the chat, just make sure we've covered everything. One of the things I would recommend is communications with your customers, even when you're not obviously dealing with them. So you need to keep in their mind. So it's all right, service them, they have a good computer for you. But like most people, they're going to forget who you are in 6 months' time, if not a week or even a day. So keep them in mind who you are. So a good way of doing that is obviously you've got emails, social media and stuff. But the thing is, people remember people. They don't remember logos, unless you're Coca-Cola or Nike, depending on how you want to pronounce it and so forth. So a good way of marketing yourself is, well, you're the person they've dealt with generally, especially if you're a small independent store. So in your emails at the top, the header, have an image of yourself so people know, oh, it's that guy at the computer shop rather than it's computer shop ABC, whatever. So social media, obviously you've got your banners at the top. Stick yourself on the banners. I've seen Ken on plenty of pictures of his own, as well as his dogs and the staff
Duke.
as well. So that's
a
something
great
to think.
selling point, though, is the pets.
So people buy, obviously, from people.
And dogs.
again, communication as well. If you've got customers and you've not heard from a long time, why not call them? You've got their
Yeah.
details. It's not really cold calling as such because they're a past customer. You just will call them and just say, "Hey, that computer you bought from us or that you serviced a year ago, or whatever. How is it? Any problems?" and so forth. You could be opening yourself up to a can of worms sometimes with some customers, but you tend to, when you're dealing with those customers in the first place, you tend to know which ones are the ones you can actually deal with and generally get a good response from. And you'd be surprised how many times they'll turn around, probably the first year, oh, everything's fine, and then probably 2-3 years down the line, the sort of thing, oh, well, it's getting a little bit slow now, and well, that's your time to jump in and say, oh, do you want me to come round and give it a service or quote you for a new one or whatever it may be. There are automated systems as well. We used to use one which was very good. It's called App Toto or Tutu, whichever you want to call it. I'm putting it on the screen at the moment and in chat. But basically, it will tie in with some stuff like your Google Calendar, and you'll put keywords on your Google Calendar, say, for example, service one, and then what will happen is it will automatically text or call automatically after a year that customer and say, hey, you had a service on your computer a year ago. Why don't you come back in? You can put a special offer on there or whatever if you wanted to or not. That's up to you, and so forth. You can do the same with security and multiple different things, and all tie it in with this calendar system. And buy a new PC, just say, oh, your warranty's coming to an end. You want to extend it, so you are a person who does extended warranty, and stuff like that. There's plenty of options there. Yeah, it does cost a little bit. I think it's about £30 a month, but £30 a month, let's end up with 450 texts or calls, and you can customize them yourself. So for that, you only need one customer a month, and it more than pays for it.
And he's right about having your picture on, like, say, Facebook or whatever means that you're using to promote your business. I used to go in Tesco and shop, and I would have at least 5 or 6 people come up to me, "You're Mrs. Chips, aren't you?" And I was never called by my name. I was called Mrs. Chips. And I would be thinking, how do you know that? Because I would have never seen them. Oh, you're Mrs. Chips. And I thought, yeah, why?
There we go. Right, let's go on to chat. First of all, audio, Phil, hardly heard what you said.
Yeah, it dropped out again. I think it's because we're crossing IP streams from North America and the UK, and we have, just like you have different measurement units, and different gallons. Like the U.S. gallon is different than the British gallon. Mixing IP from North America with IP from the UK is causing this muffle. I'm pretty sure.
It's weird because before every show we do a audio check, record, everything's fine. And we didn't have any issues when we did the pre-show as well. As soon as we go live,
it just comes and goes. Like for 10 seconds, you'll be muffled, and then you're fine.
That's really weird. So yeah, it must be something to do with that end. But we'll look into it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just go through the. Is it just me or is it Jen as well?
Jen as well.
So it's both.
Okay, so it's this total in.
Typical.
Right.
Okay.
Blame the colonies.
That's it. There we go. Right, let's quickly go through chat. Let's have a look.
I can do BSL if you want me to. Going back to friendships with customers, being too friendly can sometimes bite you in the backside when you ultimately have to tell them that you can't do a special price. Then the complaints come. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Totally. The government wouldn't be able to afford us going back into lockdown, so no need to worry. I hope you're right, Wilshie. I really do, because I did not enjoy lockdown. Some people kicked back and put their feet up. I was working. So I'm still trying to figure out what to provide and how much to charge for that sort of service to consumers. It depends on your area, first and foremost. And if you wanted to talk to someone, I would recommend maybe talking to Phil about it, and send him an email.
Yeah, I'm going to say, Rich, you can send me an email or ask in the Tech for Text group, and others can chime in as well. That way we can cover that. But it really differs. But best way to work it out is see how much it costs you to offer these services, how much you would normally charge for these services if you were seeing the person so many times a year, and sort of work it out
Average it.
towards that. But again, Robert's saying sorry is late. Here we go. And obviously Welsh is saying that repeating the bad audio. So not much we can do about that. So what we're going to do is call it a night here then, guys. I just want to say thank you to Luke for joining us. Thank you, obviously, for Ken, for joining us again. So it's been a pleasure having you on. But before we go, we've got to do one thing. And that's if this works as well, because it's probably not going to. Here we go.
You can access and control any distant computer or mobile device. Sign up now and start supporting your customers.
So thank you, ISL, for sponsoring us, and that basically allows us to put on the show. If you do want to have a look at their remote software, scan the QR code on the screen or go to islonline.com. So that's ISL Online.
They are very easy to work with, and they have a really good product.
Yeah, and it is another software package we use ourselves, just like Emsisoft. One of the things that me and Jen won't promote is brands we don't like or don't want to work with. So ISL is definitely one of them. Emsisoft's definitely one of them as well. So, but there we go. So we're going to leave it there. Just like to say thank you, everyone, again. Thanks, Luke. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for everyone putting up with our audio issues. And we'll see you all next week for next week's show, where we talk about the new Tech Max. We're talking about Tech Max 25. We're also going to be talking about Tech for Text Plus and Tech for Text Real Tech. So we're going to be talking about that next Monday, 8 p.m. The Tech for Text Plus, the one on the left there, will be launching at 8 p.m. live.
Be sure to tune in for that. You don't want to miss this show.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to miss any of our shows, but particularly this one.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have the audio sorted out. So the audio's been fine for 2 weeks. Before it was a bit scrambled. It's random. But anyway, right. Thanks again, everyone. Thanks again, Luke, Ken, and everyone.
An honor, pleasure.
No problem. See you later then, everyone. Thanks again.
Thanks.